a good ball played in for Tony Morley. Oh, he missed it! It is! Peter Will! Villa in the lead!
Hello, very good afternoon, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to the Villa Threader podcast. I am your host, Chad Williams. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Instagram. Please subscribe to the channel. Let's get close to 2K on YouTube. Give me a follow on TikTok. And smash the likes on this video. And you can follow me on all socials. On this episode, I'll be joined by my special guest, Andrew Greaves, who is from the B-hole end. We will be doing the match preview. We turn our attention to Sunday. The Premier League's a 2 p.m. kickoff at Turf Moor. Aston Villa are the visitors. Aston Villa are looking to bounce back after the Tottenham game. And also, after 7 changes in the last game, Aston Villa also looking to put the pressure on Liverpool. But how are we feeling, Aston Villa fans? We're in our first major European final since 1982. Thank you to Unai Emery for making this happen. Get your boarding passes out and get ready to celebrate, Aston Villa fans. Get that in your diary. The 20th of May, we will be in Istanbul, and we completely blown away Nottingham Forest last night. It'll be Aston Villa versus Freiburg in the final. Great to the show. Andrew, how are you?
Very good, mate. Very good. Very, very envious of you guys being in a European final, I have to say, while we're looking forward to the Championship.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I mean, that's it over the moon. I was at the game last night. A very special night at Villa Park. And to me, the players and Emery, they worked so hard for this moment. But only 90 minutes away for European glory again.
Yeah, it's incredible, really. I mean, I think what Emery's done, and I watched Emery when he was Almeria manager. I lived in Spain, and Unai was the Almeria manager, and you know, this is his competition, isn't it? This is the kind of competition he thrives in.
Yeah. And for him, it's written in the stars. It could be the 5th time but he's won the competition.
Yeah.
But Emery besides his players now, just get the job finished now. Just get over the line and get it done.
Definitely.
Also, it's not like the team. Also, the fans deserve it because 30 years the last time that we've won a major trophy, and it's an incredible story, really. From where we were, I think we were a few years ago.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Villa's one of them proper football clubs, isn't it? I mean, you'll obviously agree with that, but I think for me, Villa is one of those. I love going to Villa Park for Burnley games, and it's just a special ground and a really special football club. So, yeah, I think quite a few Burnley fans will doff their cap to you last night for that win.
And we both got the same colours.
Exactly, yeah. Blue. Definitely.
Which we both share.
Definitely. Maybe we can claim the win then if you win as well. Maybe we can have a joy from that.
So before we get into about the preview about the game, do you see the Europa League game last night?
Yeah, I saw the second half, and I think that is the Villa that is really enjoyable to watch. I know the last couple of league games have perhaps been a bit disappointing. But I think Villa are one of those sides that are, really exciting to watch. And I say that as somebody who's had to suffer some very dull football this last couple of years. But I mean, I love McGinn. I think he's such a good player. Ollie Watkins.
He's a legend to me, like going down as legends.
Yeah, he's just one of these players that he works hard. And you mentioned there, Chad, about kind of the players and the manager deserve it. I think they do. I think that's right.
Yeah.
I think you get your own look in football, and you can have the most skillful players, but you've got to work hard. And I think the one thing that Villa side does is work ridiculously hard for each other. And I think that's borne out in that win last night. Sweeping aside Forest really last night.
And McGinn, he scored important goals.
Yeah.
And that's nice. He really stepped it up. Physically, his desire.
Yeah.
And his intensity. Plus, all the players. I mean, McGinn, he kept fighting.
Yeah.
McGinn scored twice. He's got a very good record in Europe.
Yeah.
Scored the Conference League goals, the Champions League level, the Europa League. He's played at it all, really.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a great player, and I wish we had a little bit of that intensity, because that's what we've missed this season, is that front foot intensity, which you guys showed last night. 1-0 down from the first leg, no margin for error. You've got to go and win a football game, haven't you?
The players like McGinn, most teams would like that as their captain. Just the real Captain Marvel. Captain fantastic.
Yeah, 100%, definitely. Couldn't agree more.
So that's nice. I mean, Unai Emery, he made a bit of a risk playing Victor Lindelof in the midfield. But to tell you what, it really works. He got it spot on, Emery.
Yeah, and I think he's a manager I've always liked. I think his time at Arsenal was he was there at the wrong time. I think his Arsenal spell can be put down to experience, chalk it off. But he's that kind of manager who will look for solutions to what's in front of him, and like I said, the selection last night kind of proved that, in terms of you set up a team to beat the team in front of you. You don't set up a team to, because it's the team you always set up. You don't set up a team to kind of, not lose a game of football, which is what we've been doing. But yeah, fantastic from Emery, a bit of a masterstroke, really.
The Spurs game, he got a lot of criticism for 7 changes. But Emery clearly knows what he's doing. He saved those players for last night.
Yeah.
There was a reason why he did it.
Yeah. And that is that competition last night, you would probably take finishing a position or two lower in the Premier League if you can win in Istanbul and win that competition. Anybody would, because it guarantees European football for next season as well. So, yeah, I think we as football fans are a little bit fickle, aren't we? We're a bit, we like to criticise when things perhaps don't go right, and, Spurs rolling into town. You expect 3 points, but listen, you got the win last night on such a good performance. You're in the final. Not the Spurs game doesn't matter now, does it? It's that kind of, you shrug your shoulders and go, got beat by Spurs. Forget it. We're in European final.
And the fans last night were absolutely magnificent. For the first whistle, they backed their team. And the Forest fans were completely silenced.
Yeah.
Villa Park, but when it gets rocking, it's really intimidating for any away team.
Yeah, it's a superb ground. It's a proper football ground, isn't it? And I think that's the thing, the atmosphere you can create there. Lots of teams fear going to Villa Park, and rightly so. You beat a lot of the big teams over the years, and it's a difficult place to go, is Villa Park.
Ollie Watkins as well. He's in good form again. The last night he really won himself into the ground.
Yeah.
Like his movement was absolutely brilliant. To get into lots of positions, just running in behind, doing the extra work as well.
Yeah, I'd like to see him take more of the responsibility off Kane for England. I know his form has been up and down this season, but I think as a natural finisher, I don't think there's that many better than Ollie Watkins, that kind of 6-yard box penalty spot type striker. And I think that's, if he can hit form now over the last 3 games plus the European final, then the England manager's got a big decision to make come the World Cup in the summer.
That's what we got a lot of it. But we got some good momentum. Like this win now, it might give us a good lift. And actually last night, as a Villa fan, I felt emotional last night.
Yeah.
The player, like, they knew how much it meant. The Emery know how much it means to the fans, they know.
Yeah, definitely.
So talking about Sunday then, like, we're against Burnley. Villa travel to Turf Moor. So what do you expect from Sunday?
It's a strange one because I think it's one of there's 2 things at play. It's our first home game since Scott Parker left. It does come on the back of a equally disappointing game last time out where it was almost a Scott Parker tribute show. But you're coming into it on the back of a Thursday night game. The emotion, as you talked about, the kind of elation. I'm sure there'll have been some celebrations. Perhaps not too raucous, but there'll be some celebrations. So it's a strange one. I mean, if the Villa of last night turn up, we will struggle to contain Villa. No doubt about it. Yeah, if Villa come in a little bit hungover, then that opens the door for us, and by God, we need a bit of something to cheer about. It's whether our lads are kind of resigned to the fact that we're relegated, and it's about kind of not picking up any injuries because you might get a move in the summer. But I think a lot of the Burnley players, a lot of them will be playing for personal pride, so it could be a really interesting battle on Sunday even. But I go into Burnley games now not really knowing what to expect because we could either be brilliant or we could be rubbish. You could be brilliant or you could be kind of still nursing the effects of Thursday night. So a bit of a difficult one to predict, I think.
A bit of rotation maybe. From the other point of view, there could be a few changes. A few players might be a bit rusty. So not major changes, but I expect maybe 2 or 3 changes. Possibly. That's to freshen things up.
Yeah, I think there probably will be 1 or 2 changes for you guys. I think Emery will know that it's now about managing players' fitness for the last couple of Premier League games and the European final. Obviously, all eyes will be on that. We've got a bit of time until we get to Istanbul for that final. So there is, but equally, he will want to win a game of football at Turf Moor. So, the depth of your squad.
Guns with 5th place, like, and Liverpool are 4th at the moment. So we still need to look at getting that top 4 spot. But at the moment, Liverpool are above us on goal difference.
Yeah. Well, I think if there's ever an opportunity to increase your goal difference, given the amount of goals we've conceded, then Sunday, unfortunately for us, Chad, that might be the time when you kind of unlock that Burnley defence and make a bit of a dent in that goal difference.
Also with Burnley, that your season is over. You're playing without pressure. So really for us, the pressure's on us to go out and get the 3 points.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think Manchester City, when they came to the turf the other week, I think the pressure was on them. They won 1-0. I think Burnley fans were expecting us to be on the end of a cricket score. And sometimes that pressure and that freedom, as you mentioned, for us can work in a way. We lost 1-0. We went behind in, I think it was like the 4th, 5th minute, and everyone kind of went, right, that's it. This is going to be 5 or 6, maybe even more. But actually, the pressure that City felt, because they were trying to claw back some goal difference on Arsenal as well as points, and that freedom we were playing with kind of got us into a position where we knew we were down, right? And that's the night we were relegated. But definitely kind of pressure. The pressure is on you. I mean, there's no pressure on us. We're relegated. We may even end up finishing bottom if Wolves beat us on the last day of the season.
For the Championship now.
Yeah, definitely. I think pretty much. I think since Christmas, most Burnley fans were resigned to the fact that we'd be in the Championship next season. We've obviously done very well the last 3 times we've been there because we've been promoted. I don't think it'll be as easy next year, but certainly I think from the fans' pressure point of view, nothing we can do now will keep us in the Premier League. So I think it's a case of us trying to enjoy the last 3 games, last 2 home games and the away game at Arsenal, and see if we can get some results along the way. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, that's, and I think we've missed a bit of that this season. I think, there's been far too many under par performances where people haven't shown the intensity, as you mentioned, from McGinn and the Villa lads.
Yeah, because look, Wolves, they're already relegated. A few months ago, with Rob Edwards, they showed fight. Not even though they're relegated, they still show fight.
Yeah. And you've got to, you wonder whether if Wolves, especially had shown fight, if we had shown fight a bit earlier, we might not have been relegated. But, that's the nature of football, isn't it?
Yeah. Also, in the games coming up, we've got you guys next on Sunday. We've got Man City and Liverpool. So that's why this game on Sunday is more important than Aston Villa. And then you got 2 tough games then.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Let's go see. We're going to go into the Etihad on the final day. But hopefully by the time we go to the Etihad, we will have already won the Europa League, hopefully.
Yeah, because actually that last game could end up being all important for Manchester City. It could be the next Aguero moment, couldn't it? You know what I mean? It could be one of those where everything's still to play for. I mean, obviously dropping points at Everton, not ideal for Pep Guardiola's team, but I think, you want Europe done and dusted. You want to have won that, guaranteed European football. Liverpool at home, then I guess if you're coming to us in City, that in itself is a big game, isn't it? I mean, the Burnley fixture is the easiest of the 3.
Yes.
You would hope as a Villa fan. But I don't know. It's a weird one, isn't it? It's going to be a tough run-in for you guys.
Okay. This is a good one, Burnley. It means we're physically competitive. So I think in this game, we may be good in transition. We can really hurt Burnley. We've got a lot of pace. They're not so much in cash. It's not being competitive. They're not right-hand side.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think in the kind of transition, in the turnover, that is where teams have hurt us. When you can shift the ball from defensive third to the edge of our area, that is really where, teams have had a lot of success. Likewise, we're pretty good on the break. We've not had much of a chance to show it, but when we have kind of hit teams on the break, we've created opportunities. We've not always taken them, but I think I think we'll see a lot of kind of back and forth. I think it'll be, almost like a basketball game, I think, at times on Sunday.
Because look in Burnley, so this season, they create a lot of opportunities, but they haven't been ruthless enough. They're in football. Football with throwing margins.
Yeah, we needed a striker really in the summer, and then again in January, and we didn't prioritise a striker. You know, Breuer came and he was injured. Foster is now in his third, fourth season.
So, yeah.
He's not cutting the mustard. You know, Fleming has done ridiculously well to get himself, I think it's 9 Premier League goals in a team where he's been in and out the side with injury, but also had very little service. So, yeah, we missed, you know, our recruitment has been poor by and large in a lot of areas. And that's ultimately what's cost us, not being clinical enough.
Yeah, we're going to the next talking point. So, I can get on the screen the Burnley predicted lineup.
Yeah.
That you set me in opposition. So, how will Burnley set up on Sunday?
Yes. Yeah, so I've gone with the 5 at the back, which seems to be being favoured. They may sacrifice one of the defenders and bring in kind of Ugochukwu into midfield against Villa, so it's more of a kind of 4-3-3. But Mike Jackson, who's obviously the interim manager, I think is probably will go with that back 5. You obviously got Dubravka, who has had a bit of an up and down season. Really, he's been fantastic at parts and then terrible in other parts. I think he was,
mixed.
you know, definitely the very mixed. Yeah, definitely, certainly the last game. You know, the first goal, you wonder, you know, how he's not got that, and then he kind of shunts the ball out straight into the opposition's path. Walker again, up and down. You know, started fantastically, had a bit of a poor midsection, and then has come back pretty well. I don't think we need 5 at the back. I'm not a fan of 5 at the back, but I think Mike Jackson will possibly go with that. And then Ward Prowse has been. I'd prefer 4.
And also, you know about the 5? That know how to break down.
Yeah.
You know, is that the reason why he's gone with 5? To know how to break down.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a kind of a fear around perhaps a bit of a lack of pace in that back line, which it means by having 5, we're always, you know, if one of the fullbacks gets forward, we've always got 4 that can shunt across, if you will. So if Hartman gets forward, then everybody shunts across, and Humphreys becomes kind of de facto left back. The midfield has been a conundrum all season. We brought Ward Prowse in, and he's starting to look really good. You know, everyone knows James Ward Prowse, a really solid, you know, solid Premier League midfielder of a number of years. And then Josh Laurent is a player who kind of Burnley fans either really, really like or can't understand his worth within a team. And he's been fantastic, you know, a bit of a journeyman. I know he doesn't like that term, but, you know, signed for us from Stoke for £500,000, did well in the Championship. He's probably not, if we're honest, kind of week in, week out Premier League quality.
Premier League quality.
No, but he gives his all. He works hard. He's somebody who cares about the shirt. So I think Jackson may, as he did in the last game, favour that midfield too. Up top, Fleming is you know, Fleming and Anthony are probably your first picks. I've gone with Hannibal out wide rather than Chowner. I think Hannibal came on and was kind of the difference in the last game last weekend. You know, really felt like he was the difference against Leeds. It wasn't a high bar, but you know, he was man of the match for his kind of half an hour appearance. So I think he will probably get the nod over Chowner. He's not really a wide player, but it does allow us to kind of push him up and behind Fleming, if you will. So that's my prediction. You know, it could well be completely wrong. We could see, you know, Mike Tresor, who we've barely seen in a Burnley shirt, coming back in. We could see Ugochukwu in that midfield. We could see a 4 rather than a 5. But that's my kind of best prediction, to be honest, Chad.
To go back to the midfield, that the Burnley midfield has not been settled this season at all.
No, we've missed Josh Cullen. I mean, we lost Josh Cullen, who's the captain, to an ACL injury. That was a big blow because I think actually a midfield that included a Cullen, a Ward Prowse, and another, maybe an Ugo Chukwu to kind of get forward. I think we wouldn't have seen the 5 at the back. I think we'd have been happy with 4 at the back had Cullen been that deep line midfielder who just kind of slots into the back line if needed. So you're right, though, Chad. I mean, it's not been settled all season. We chop and change in there. We brought Ward Prowse in January. It's, if you don't have a settled midfield to set the rhythm and to set the pace and the tempo, as you'll know, it's really difficult to win football matches without a midfield that's
the Aston Villa, our midfield is the strongest area in the pitch. So it's the reason why I think maybe we've got the advantage on Sunday with the Yuri Tielemans. Do you know midfield looks like Yuri Tielemans?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Tielemans is a super player. I mean, he's a fantastic player, international player, it just glides through football matches, really. He pops up edge of the area, pops up out wide, pops up kind of, tracking back in his own defensive third. Every team would love a Yuri Tielemans to kind of dictate pace and tempo in that midfield engine room. I'm sure they would.
Does he always controls the game?
Yeah.
Any vision? He's got a great passing vision as well.
Yeah, and you need that. And I think we've had a bit of that with Ward Prowse. Part of the problem is that the players around him aren't at the same level as he is. So some of that vision and some of that kind of control he's lost when players are having to work harder than perhaps, Ward Prowse is, because they're not quite at that level. So I think had we had a settled midfield and had we got Ward Prowse into the team earlier, because we had to wait kind of, 4 or 5 weeks for him to really settle in, because he'd not played a lot of football at West Ham under Nuno. I think we'd have certainly, perhaps given a better fist of it. And it is, the midfield is often the strongest position in most teams. And for us, it's the bit that gets overlooked and bypassed quite often.
Do you know Ward Prowse? Is he on loan, is it?
Yeah, just on loan. There's no option to buy, but I think Burnley fans are hoping that, obviously, if West Ham survive and Nuno stays, then Ward Prowse probably won't have much of a future there. So I think Burnley fans are hoping we might see him again next season.
And injuries, that's really affected you as well.
Yeah, I think obviously the big one, the big one was Josh Cullen, kind of mid-season. But I think not having Connor Roberts at right back. I know we've got Walker there, but you perhaps rejig your back line and have Roberts at right back and Walker at the right side of a 4, right side of a 2-man central defence. I think gives you a different perspective. I think there's, Estev hasn't had the greatest of seasons. Ekdal I really like, but he lacks pace. Humphreys is young. He was out injured at the start of the season, came back into the side, has done well. So, yeah, I think there's just little bits. Breuer, I don't think has been fully fit yet. He shows flashes. Like I say, that recruitment around, some of the people we brought in, I don't know. Everything's just a bit mismatched. There's nothing fits together, if you know what I mean.
To go to the next talking point. So, talking about Scott Parker.
Yeah.
So, how did you feel after Scott Parker to leave in Burnley? And who do you think will be the best replacement?
Yeah, I think Parker. I think I have a lot of sympathy for Scott Parker, because I think he's been let down by the recruitment. I think that's been really clear. I think he's a genuinely, exceptional human being. I think that comes across really well. I think he's just, I think there's 2 things with Parker. I think he probably suffers from a little bit of PTSD from his Bournemouth experience, and obviously getting beat. 9-0 at Anfield. I think I think a lot of the way he set us up this season was to avoid a humiliation like that.
Okay.
And I think the other part of Scott Parker is he perhaps a little bit too soft with the players. I think he's not really a kind of stripping the paint off the walls kind of hairdryer manager, which I can imagine Emery is, and we obviously know Sir Alex Ferguson was.
Good
And I just
Parker.
think
He's still quite young.
he is still young. He's still young and he can still develop. I'm not sure he has the kind of capacity to manage at Premier League level. I think he's probably he probably overthinks things a little bit too much from a kind of personal point of view. And I'm really sad that it didn't work out, because he obviously got triple figures last season in terms of points, and we missed out to Leeds on goal difference. But I just think, I think we stuck with him on the podcast for as long as we could, and then it became obvious that he just, it wasn't going to ever get any better. In terms of replacement, it's really difficult, because obviously you've got a lot of Burnley fans who, would favour a kind of Thomas Frank or these kind of managers. But at the end of the day, I don't think a Thomas Frank's dropping down to the Championship.
Andrew, you say the rumours about Steven Gerrard.
I'm very much against Steven Gerrard becoming Burnley manager. I think because of his spell at Aston Villa. I mean, he obviously did
I've got
well.
a lot of bits of feelings towards Steven Gerrard.
Yeah, you're not keen on Gerrard then, Chad?
No, not the job. It wasn't the right guy. All I don't like about Gerrard is he makes excuses. The big thing that I didn't like about him. Those are not all ex-players. They're not all ex-players make good managers.
No, exactly.
Frank Lampard's done tremendous job in Country City. But I don't think it works all the time, though.
No, and Frank obviously was at Chelsea for a couple of spells, didn't really do well there. Derby County somehow managed not to get promoted with Derby County, despite having a ridiculous squad with some ex-Chelsea players. Obviously, Everton, he kind of kept them in the Premier League at our expense that season. It was very the Gerrard thing. I'm kind of hoping he joins Bristol City sooner rather than later, because I'm not quite sure I fancy.
He thought he was bigger than the club.
Yeah, and if he thinks he's bigger than Aston Villa, then he's definitely going to think he's bigger than Burnley. So, I like Craig Bellamy. Obviously, Bellamy was assistant manager under Vincent Kompany.
Yep.
I like him. I like Barry Murphy at Brian Barry Murphy. I think it is at Cardiff City. I think he's somebody who I would like in terms of progressive managers. And then there's obviously whoever there is abroad. I mean, obviously, there's managers who are kind of tried and tested in foreign leagues who, may fancy a challenge in this country, which could kind of open up different things for us. So I think one of the for me, I think the club just needs to take their time, look at who the best fit is out there for the players we've got. But I agree. I'm not a Gerrard fan. It won't be for me. Won't Gerrard?
Well, if you need new ideas, the owners, the Burnley owners, they were in a different direction. So it might be a different way forward. Because the Burnley last few seasons, there seems to be a bit of a yo-yo club.
Yeah. I think the owners have this idea that you can buy all these young players from Europe, chuck them into the Premier League, and then make tens of millions of pounds on them. And it doesn't work like that. I mean, it's quite an American way of looking at things as commodities and whatnot. So what I'd like a director of football. I have to say, I'd like somebody quite experienced to come in and just kind of take a look at the club and kind of go, this is what we've got, right? These are the players. This is the recruitment. Because I think at the minute the recruitment is Championship manager. I think it's it's soccer based. It's looking at kind of statistics and forgetting that actually football players are human beings, and you need to know about their character, which is what we used to do under Dyche.
Look at business.
Absolutely, Chad. Yeah. No, it's a football club. It's an entertainment. It belongs to us as fans. They might own it, but it doesn't belong to them, because we're going to be around when they've disappeared with a tail between their legs because their financial investment hasn't quite worked. And I just wish the ownership would show a bit of humility and just start to understand that a little bit more, rather than just kind of running roughshod over 100 odd years of history and forgetting what we're about as a town and as an area, which is hard work, grit and determination, because we've not got any of that at the minute.
Can we also get back to the Premier League? That'd be the first target. But for Burnley, they need to become established Premier League team. It's going to take a bit of time. The fans have to be a bit more patient.
Yeah, it's going to take time. And we were an established Premier League club under Sean Dyche for 6-7 years, weren't we? And then, the new owners came in and changed the culture, changed the way we perhaps did things a little bit. And, it wasn't always for the better. And the model they've got at the minute clearly doesn't work, because you say we're a yo-yo club. We've gone down, we've gone up, we've gone down, we've gone up, we've gone down again. I just wish we had a bit of stability and we could just settle in the Premier League for a bit and finish 14th for a couple of seasons just to stay out of trouble for a bit, I think.
So I'm going to talk about the Aston Villa talking points. So do you think Aston Villa fans should be criticising Emery in the last few weeks for team selection?
I think it's a difficult one. I think, as I said, I think if you offered Villa fans the chance of being in a European final and then winning that European final, if it meant you had a couple of results in the Premier League that were a bit unpalatable, shall we say, and Emery had to mix his squad, I think most Villa fans would say, absolutely. Of course we want to be in a European final. Of course we want to win that European final. Our problem as football fans is we want everything, don't we? We want this cake and we want to be able to eat it. So I think football managers should be open to criticism. You guys pay the money to go to Villa Park and travel up and down the country. But I think, take it from me, who's not seen a Burnley win at home since I think it's October or something like that.
Oh, wow.
We criticize team selections all the time, but it's because we're not winning and we're not in Europe and we're out of cup competitions. It's very different. So absolutely be critical, but also I think Villa fans will probably take a step back after last night and go, that is why he was picking the team he was picking. And ultimately, we've got what we want. We're going to Istanbul. We're in a European final. We've got a shot, 90 minutes to win a European competition for the first time since 40 odd years, whatever it works out at, 42 years, I think it is.
Yeah, 1992,
Or 44 years, even longer. There you go.
Yeah. But it's the way with Emery, his managing minutes, the way it is.
Yeah.
He needs to rotate players. He did a lot of fixtures. He was playing a lot of Thursday, Sunday, all season.
Yeah.
But Emery's the master at doing that. Yeah. Emery's very good at rotating players in the Premier League and Europe. Yeah.
Yeah. And that he should be applauded for that, because I think, again, obviously Arteta and Guardiola get all the plaudits, but for a club like Villa, given where you were, given the fact that you're not spending as much as Manchester City and the Chelseas and Liverpool did last summer, to be quietly getting yourselves into the final of a European competition and still be challenging for top four when it's really difficult to play in Europe and play in the Premier League, as lots of teams. We found that out when we were in Europe. Forest did. West Ham have. It's a lot of minutes. It's a lot of travelling. You're often going to kind of far-flung places. You're not really training properly. If you might go out to Italy and do a day's training, but you're losing a couple of days every week there, and them still being expected to perform. And by and large, I think Villa have performed well. They've played good football. So I'd always say to any fans, like Villa fans, just be careful what you wish for. If it's not always going to be sunshine and roses, is it?
Yeah. That's what I mean, like that. Good and bad times, but who do Emery's built? And consistency.
Yeah.
They're always consistency. They're always near the top end of the table.
Yeah.
I mean, like Tottenham, for example. I don't see them as a big six club.
No.
Spurs, I think looks at Aston Villa. They've replaced Tottenham.
Yeah.
I think Villa now were consistent. Big six side, trying to get in Champions Leagues.
Yeah. Yeah, outside of kind of the ones you'd expect there, Arsenal, Manchester City, Man United this year, of course, are back into it. Villa have been over the last 2 or 3 years that constant. The teams that your Spurs who used to be there have dropped out. Your Newcastle United, I think back to
We've
the
been
90s
knocking
and
on the
early
door.
2000s. Yeah, and and that's down to your manager.
Oh yeah, they're praising for that. Oh yeah, he's got a real impact. Morgan Rogers. Maybe he might need more of the rest, maybe, because the looks of Morgan Rogers, he's played a lot of games actually. So you really need to rest some of the other players.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's you want your best players to play. Managers want the best players to play. The best players always want to play. And it's a balancing act, and it's you've got to keep players happy, you've got to keep fans happy, you've got to keep the chairman happy, you've got to keep the board happy, you've got to keep the local journalists happy. It's a tough old job. He's being a football manager, and I think Emery does it with a lot of grace and a little bit of humour as well. And I think quite rightly he'll get the plaudits at the end of the season.
Yeah, he's the greatest manager that Villa have had. A long time, Emery.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate what he's done for the football club.
Yeah, would definitely agree with that. Superb manager, and long may it continue for you guys.
To go to my last question. So what was the main reason Burnley got relegated?
I think it's probably recruitment. I think we didn't recruit. We brought in a lot of good players on paper. So we brought in Florentino, who played Champions League football for Benfica. Brought in obviously Dubravka and Walker. But again, it was all right bringing these players in, but there's no identity to what the team as a whole is. I remember pre-season kind of having a bit of a dig at Leeds because they'd bought all these tall players and this kind of land of the giants. But ultimately, they've survived. They've survived with games to spare. It may not look sexy, but it is that the recruitment has to fit the style of play and the identity. And I think the problem for Burnley is, for large parts this season, we've not really known what the identity of this team is. And that's difficult. It's difficult to win football matches if you don't know whether you're what are you? Are you a pressing side? Are you a counter-attacking side? Are you a side which is big and physical? Are you a side that gets in the faces? I couldn't tell you what this Burnley side is, Chad, if I'm honest. And that to me is the biggest issue. And that's why we've gone down. You need an identity. Yeah. Need an identity. We don't have one currently. Hopefully a new manager will come in, look at what we've got and build an identity around that. We don't know what part of Parker's philosophy was staying in games. So don't stay in games as long as you can. There's no urgency. There was no real kind of front-footedness, if that's the right way of saying it. And often we were kind of 2 or 3 down inside. Kind of, we had a spell where we were down 2. We were 2-0 down inside like 30 minutes on about 4 games on the spin. There's no point in your philosophy of being staying games if you're out of a game 20 minutes into it. So I think all the teams that have survived, Leeds, Sunderland, and I know Sunderland have had a bit of an iffy spell. It's all about getting on the front foot, getting in teams' faces, playing with intensity. That's their identity. That's not our identity, and I don't know what our identity is.
Also, with Burnley, they've got no plan B and no structure.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing. It just becomes kind of looking at the subs bench and what can we do, who can we throw on, and there's no rhyme or reason to the way we make our selections in game as well, which has been a big frustration, I think.
Also, inconsistency. The results and performances have not been consistent enough.
No,
this season.
No, not at all. Not at all. And I think that, they're the ingredients you need for a good Premier League season: consistency, identity, and philosophy.
Get everyone's good home thought. It's important that you make a fortress. When you just get promoted, it's the first thing you need to do. The fundamentals. If you have good home thought, you set up for a good season.
Yeah. And we always had that under Dash. We were rubbish away, but we were pretty decent at home. And, this season we've arguably been better away from home at times than we have at home. So, yeah, the fundamentals, as you say, Chad, just haven't been there. And we'll chalk it off to another bad season and hope we can come back strong next year.
You dropped a lot of points from winning positions. And drawing 2 minutes. For some of you guys, can you change a lot of your draws into wins? It's a big difference as well.
Yeah, big time. We drew against Liverpool, Man United, and Spurs in a kind of mini revival run. We probably could have won them football matches, and had we played like we did against Man City the other week when we lost 1-0 against the likes of West Ham, Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, Brentford, Fulham, we could have picked up wins or picked up extra points, but we just not turned up in the games that matter, and there's been too many of them games that have mattered.
But we're going towards the end of the podcast. So Andrew, before I let you go, what your score prediction?
I'm going to go for 1-1. I don't want to. I don't want to suggest we're going to get anything more than that, but like I say, I think if you guys have, if the Villa players have overdone the beers, we might get a draw. But I 1-1. I'm going to go for, and I'm going to stick to it.
I'm going to go 2-0. Away win. I'm going to go for. Get the run going. And try and get into the Burnley game.
Definitely, mate.
Well, thank you, Andrew.
Absolutely.
You've been a great guest.
Thank you very much. Thanks for asking me, Chad.
Well, thank you, everyone, for watching. If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure to subscribe. It's getting close to 2K. Then tomorrow, make sure to look out. I'll be doing a match reaction for last night's game in more detail. So make sure to look out for that one. Smash the like button on today's video. Give it a share on all your socials. Spread the word about the podcast. If you listen via audio, leave us a good review. Give us 5 stars, that always helps. Also, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I'm going to wrap up this episode. Villa forever as always. Istanbul, my lord. And up the Villa.